In this short video, we are going to cover a topic that I generally don't have enough time in virtual lessons to cover, which is the relation between models and cultures. Models are basically representations of a reality. They are not reality in themselves or in itself. And this is a big challenge for a person starting to work in management, because there is a tendency to believe that whatever appears on paper or on an organizational chart is reality, but it certainly is not. It is the representation that somebody found of what he saw in a specific moment, or what was told of how the organization should be. And there are some other models that we don't generally go deep into, which are the political and subjective models. And these ones are not models that you are going to develop, or unless you later on become a specialist in management, which I would love to see. But in general, it's when organizations are suffering or are undergoing changes or are suffering crisis, they tend to call a specialist. And one of the readings that these people tend to provide the organization with is with a political and a subjective reading, that is where power and how human styles connect and or clash in the organization. That is a very, very rich reading for top management, not for middle management, and not even, I wouldn't even consider it as regards low management, in terms of how to plan and how to work strategically towards the future. And this concept of models, or this idea of accepting the fact that an organization or the descriptive model of an organization, regardless it's being a set of boxes with lines, implies power, implies personalities, brings us to the topic I love most in this unit, which is the idea of cultures. All right. Of course, the concepts that we cover as regards cultures is different from the ones that are generally used in general gestión educativa in Spanish. We follow strictly what Ronald White takes from Charles Handy's original work in the 1950s, which is a very rich, I'm all the time talking about rich today, but a rich idea, because it is cultured. It comes from the Greek gods, and he developed these four cultures, considering a different god as a representation of the culture. And I think it's very important for us to consider this, because it's a metaphor that helps us clarify. And another thing that is very important in terms of culture is that there is never only one culture. All cultures coexist, but there is one that prevails. So let me go quickly into these. The power culture was developed according or in line with the image of Zeus, okay, the almighty god of the Olympus, right, who did whatever he wanted whenever he wanted, and who created chaos in the world just because it didn't fit his desire. If we think about this, we might find that 70% of language schools and organizations fit into this, mostly because they are small organizations and they are shaped under the style of the owner. So it's very common for us to work within organizations that have a very strong power culture. The idea of the role culture is different, and it's more related to the idea of the god Apollo, right, who was who had a very strict role in the Olympus, right? And he was supposed to be the messenger and to carry things. So this role culture is mostly the one that we can easily associate with administrative work, and this is one of the reasons why we generally tend to clash with them, because they work within a culture that is different from ours, but we are all within the same general culture. The task culture is the one that we always say that we aim towards, but we most of the times fail to do. And it was devised according to the idea of Athena. It's strong, it's organized, it is driven towards a goal, right? And that is what they always tell us that we should try to do whenever we talk about quality circles or teamwork or things of the sort. And finally, we do have the person culture, which is like a variation of the power culture, but from the bottom. What do I mean by this? The person culture is focused on the personality of Dionysius, right, or Bacchus, as you may want to call him. And it's basically concerned on satisfying the individual needs of the teacher, all right? While the power culture is focused on satisfying the owner, the person culture is focused on satisfying the needs of certain groups of teachers or certain teachers. And then when you complain and you say that the organization is a disaster or they don't know what they're doing, management can help you see that it's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's that a certain culture is prevailing, and then you need to see how to survive if you're a teacher, and how to manage and how to bring to a balance the overweight or over stress that is on one of the cultures in this moment. I hope to have clarified this topic, and I hope that you feel more comfortable with it as from now. Thank you.